Oh, hey, live now. The notification popped up.
Yeah, is that what it says, huh?
Yeah.
It is Sunday, fun day.
Hey.
Guys, this is bad publicity. This is Legend of the Five Rings. This is Lion Dynasty Cards. Thank you very much for popping in, joining us wherever you are. Um,
Mhm.
we are a very sociable and interactive podcast for those people, that are joining us for the first time, or if you're finding us in a recorded session. Make sure you subscribe, because what's going to happen if you subscribe, you get alerts. You can find out when we're going live. You can participate in the chat as we record and, rip our voices illustriously to the internet. Follow us on social. And if you like what we're doing, what really helps us, along with those subscribes and the likes and stuff like that, so you can do that. But there's also ways that you can donate. You can subscribe here on YouTube, if you're on YouTube Gaming, or you can find us on our Patreon page. That helps support the audio cast and helps us with equipment and all that fun hoopla and stuff.
Helps to provide the meal that Hollis is eating right now.
Yeah.
I work hard for the money.
Yeah.
Ooh, no.
Yeah. So I'm going to make a small change here. There we go.
Also, just to throw out there, sorry it's been a bit since we've done our last episode. It's been a little bit of a lull. We're going to try to be a lot more regular with our L5R content. We had a lot of release events set up, with the launch of the game this month. So a lot of us were completing 3 core sets and then just playing a bunch of the game in real life, which is a lot more fun than playing it in some of the online formats.
All right, so guys, let's rip roping into this as people are slowly trickling through. The title is now corrected. Thank you very much, John. Joshua, welcome, and let's rock and roll this, man. Corey, yeah. Dynasty Cards, we are going to talk about one offset card first, and lead us in.
Yeah, so pretty much the purpose of the episode is we are going to go through the Dynasty Lion Clan cards. We will start with the Stronghold, just to kind of bring everything into focus, and then go through the Dynasty characters, holdings, and things like that for the clan. Just real quick before we go in, well, I guess when we go into the Stronghold, we'll kind of go over some of the basics of the Lion Clan and kind of what it seems like they're wanting to try to do and their play strategy. So I guess if you guys are ready, we can jump right on the Stronghold, unless there's anything else you wanna add or throw in.
No, I do not. Throwing it to you. Stronghold it up.
All right, cool. So we will start with the very first card, the Stronghold for the Lion Clan, Yojin no Shiro. And first, forgive me if I pronounce these names like horrendously wrong, but you know what? I appreciate it if you stick with me. Choice. All right, so this is the Lion Stronghold. It is a castle. I mean, look at it. Cool. Its strength is +2 to the province underneath it. Starts with 12 honor and 7 fate, 10 influence. So a big thing about this is the 12 honor is a big thing that jumps out compared to some of the other strongholds in the game. It does have an action ability. During a conflict, bow the stronghold. Each attacking character you control gets +1 military until the end of the conflict. Little caveat, I think it's important to note, is that this only impacts the characters that are currently in play on your side when you fire it off. So if you bring anything into the conflict later with like a charge or other abilities, they don't get the bonus if you've already used your stronghold. So you've got to have it there present, and then those all get the attacking bonus as you go in. So yeah. So that immediately kind of gives you the idea that Lion wants to play an aggressive strategy. They want to be the aggressor. They want to be sending guys in. They love the military side of the game. and they want to just be funneling a mass of bodies into your province to try to overwhelm you with just sheer military might. Story. Yeah. And I mean, and thematically, in Rokugan, Lion have the largest standing military, so it fits perfectly in that whole theme and style. But that's kind of how they want to play. That's what they want to do in the game. So if you're initially, if you look at the Stronghold, your thought might be, oh, I'm a fan of like a Zerg like Rush type deck, or I want to get like big military numbers and try to just cram it down my opponent's throat. This might be a clan I might enjoy playing. But we'll delve deeper to find out if that's what actually ends up being the case as we go through some of the other cards. But I guess, hey guys, what are some of your initial reactions from the Stronghold?
I think it's average. This is a card that is going to do what Lion needs it to do, but it doesn't leave you with very many options, right?
Yeah.
So what pretty much happens is you have to be attacking, and it's like I always, for this kind of stuff, I kind of compare it to Hearthstone. I think I've said it before, where this is a very aggressive style thing. So you want to be able to put out all your little line of minions, guys, give them a buff, and just offense, and this plays into that, right? It's maybe a hair or two above average because it's I do like the 12 honor. I mean, you're already starting with a step towards a win condition that others won't have. But I just I don't know, this to me, because this is so one-sided of an ability, I just can't say that it's even though that it complements Lion really well, it's just not a well-rounded Stronghold ability. And I would like something that can be used kind of more versatile than just really, I can only use it during this window, and that's as an attacking player.
Yeah. So, but it fits. So, and I do agree. I think it is kind of like in the average, slightly above average. I don't think it's like amazing best Stronghold in game, but it's very thematic, right? Lion don't typically play with a lot of tricks, so they don't have any Strongholds that will like bow your opponent's guys, take honor from your opponent, do anything like that. They're just going to buff their guys, and it's right out there. Like, I'm just going to make my military better. And so you already know their game plan, what they're going to come at you at, and it's just, in some cases, it's like almost like if you have two guys, a 2-point swing is pretty impactful. I mean, if you think about how many battles are won and lost off someone having a fine katana in their hand, or having a bonsai, even if you're just doing it on two people, it can be a pretty impactful swing. But it's only in the military and only if you're attacking. So it does have like a very narrow focus on the situations where the Stronghold benefits.
But what I think we'll also find, of course, as we go through like some of the Lion's cards, is that they very much lend themselves to that ability alone. Like, a lot of the Lion cards are going to be not only inexpensive to play, but in addition, they also gain an inherent benefit for having a large number of Lion characters engaged in a conflict. So it's sort of like, it is focused heavily on military, and it focuses heavily when you're the attacker. But in general, it seems like the Zerg mechanic is very real with Lion in general. So the effect, I think, is limited because the inherent way they're sort of designed to be played is going to lend itself really well to the Stronghold.
Yeah. I do think, I mean, the cool thing, and Jameson, you mentioned this, is the 12 honor is definitely something not to be taken lightly. I mean, having the most honor so far of any of the other Strongholds, I think that's correct. I think 11 is the next two. I think there's 2 clans with 11 that are right below it. It's pretty impressive because that gives you, you're already kind of a step towards if you try to do decks, or the faction has decks that can go with the honor run, but it also gives you more flexibility in your card draw bid. because you've got more distance, one for you to get dishonored out, and a little more flexibility if you have to burst for a turn to put a bunch of cards in your hand.
Now it does combo, like I said, it is a good fit for Lion, but you're gonna have to be tricky with some of the cards that they have being able to boost the abilities and extending the range. Like we talk later about example Lion's Pride Brawler. Using this to boost it, and then being able to use its ability on an extended range.
And then you also have cards like Route that also synergize really well with the Stronghold, because the majority of your guys typically are Bushi. And so getting the extra military opens up a little bit more variety for a card like that.
Yeah, and then any other military style boosts and dueling and things like that it will lead a play into. So I mean, I don't think there's any more reason to dwell on it. It fits and it's nice, but I don't think it's anywhere near the best Stronghold that we've seen. No. But it's a good intro to what Lion needs.
It's not bad. Like, no. Please don't feel like it's a great Stronghold. It's definitely not like the top and the most exciting, but it's efficient in what it does.
Yep.
So I guess now we'll move into some of the characters and stuff with the Dynasty. So we have what we kind of did is we sorted the characters on 5 Rings DB, and so we're just going to go alphabetical. So if you kind of want to get an idea of the order we're going in, that's what we're following. So there's no like favoritism in our character selection. So the very first character that
I wonder if I can share see if this sort link works. I'll put this in our chat window and see if this
cool.
If that works, right. Then this is the order that we're running down.
So maybe. Okay, so the very first character we have is Akodo Gunzo. He is a Lion Clan character, Bushi. He is a cost 2, military 2, political 1, glory 2 character. He does have the pride keyword. So this means that if he wins a conflict, he honors himself. If he loses a conflict, he dishonors himself. And as a reaction, after this character enters play from a province, refill that province face up. So I'm just going to throw this in real quick. In my play experience, this is probably the most assassinated Lion character I've ever played with, because he's just one of the few guys that's worth killing that's below 3 cost. But I think he's cool. I mean, he's not like, oh my god, the most amazing, but he helps with the tempo, with the fact that he refills his province. So he kind of plays into that. You're kind of getting 2 military for 2 cost, which isn't the greatest compared to what you get for lower cost than some of the other characters. But he's also interesting that if you don't want to keep him around and you're managed to trigger his honor ability, he can help in the honor gain if you're trying to do an honor run style Lion deck. But if you do decide to put an extra fate on him, to keep him around, he does swing up to being a 4/3, if that is the case. So he's a little bit better if you like win a conflict and you for greater glory and you can keep him for another round and stuff like that. Then he becomes much more impactful. So yeah, any other thoughts, feelings? It's pretty badass artwork, I'll say that.
Yeah, no, Hollis, you got it.
Okay. No, I feel like actually his ability, his reaction ability, as well as like the fact that he has the pride trait. No, this wouldn't be a trait. This would be.
It's just like a keyword, I think.
Keyword.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, like
somebody can correct it in the chat if there's a different terminology that they use, but
correct, please do. So basically, number one, so pride existing on this card means that it, again, I mentioned before that like Lion is heavily favored for basically having the Zerg. Well, the thing is like you don't want him to like be in a conflict unless you guarantee you're going to win. So this is where like basically the pride mechanic can shine in a faction that basically wants to attack very heavily with a lot of characters at once or a fair amount of characters at once. You basically want to attack with the Akodo Gunzo and some other, character so that you can almost surely have that victory, which means that now Akodo Gunzo gains the +2 glory, to each of his stats. And a 2 cost that could potentially be 4 military, 3 political is very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You also want to attack with the other character because 9 times out of 10 they're going to assassinate your Akoto Gunzo.
Right. No, 100% agree. Yeah. No. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But then, like, even looking at the reaction ability that's there, right? Like, so even if you may be stockpiling a fair amount of fate, like let's say you went through one round with effectively 2 to 3 fate unspent, and based on a combination of rings, you had gone second, and so on and so forth. Akoto Gunzo makes it so that, oh, is that my champion that just came out? Well, I think maybe it's fine for me to actually prioritize now this champion that came out as opposed to any other card that's currently on my provinces. And I like that as an additional ability. This is a mechanic we might see again in Lion as well. But in general, this feels like this allows Akoto Gunzo basically allows a lot of different kinds of like I guess play 4 line. Either you can go the route of him going really like far horizontally. So here's a character that costs 2, another one that costs 1, another one that costs 2. Or you can say, hey, I was gonna go horizontal, but now I have an expensive character to like invest fate into, and I can see it immediately. I don't have to wait. So let me play my Lion's Pride Brawler now with the 2 or 3 influence or fate on it. Excuse me, as opposed to waiting a whole turn, which is very nice.
The other cool thing about him, and you'll see this because there's another card we'll get to later in the cast that also flips cards face up, but Lion Love Charge. And it also gives you another way to keep face-up cards in your provinces. Like I found, of course, with the charge card when I played it in other clans like Crab, typically, if you have a turn where you're saving a lot of money and you bring like all your guys out, then you've got like no targets to play your charge on. Lion like to keep face-up cards in their province, and they have a lot of ways to try to do it. So you have the chance of like keeping someone like a Honor General or a Kota Totori face up, and he's another guy who'll put another face up card in there. So you can keep like that threat of those cool targets and stuff active in your dynasty pool.
So quick side note, apologies if you guys are watching the video and you saw a blur of windows go across there for a split second. I was trying to do an edit on the fly. In later videos, I'll try and figure out the best possible way to actually be displaying the cards at the same time as we're talking about them. Even when we do our Netrunner side of things, I haven't really found the best way to do this yet without, actually manually making a screen for everyone. And that's just too crazy. So I was going to try and do something on the fly, but this one here, just bear with us. Back into the game here. I think it's going to be really interesting to put values on cards that are sitting in the Dynasty deck, and because we have to look at the cost. Like, remember, you only have a pool that you're starting out with right now in the core set of seven fates that you can do what you want with it. And you're going to have to kind of weight every card to some kind of ratio to the cost that it's put into play and the ability. And, it's also going to come down to board state and a whole bunch of other things. So it's going to be very tricky to pinpoint and look through a vacuum here at just the card itself. But from my perspective is I really see this as a very good 2-drop, so a 2-cost card in the Lion faction. And it does have a little bit of risk in it, but these kind of rush decks want to play that style. They want to play a little risk and a lot of reward. And the reward here is being with the pride ability. I mean, if he gets dishonored, you can kind of, you get shit on a bit. I didn't know if I wanted to go full out there and cuss.
Yeah.
But that being said, like, if you can't honor him, or if he doesn't get honored, he becomes very blah. on his stats. But if
Yeah.
if he does get honored, well, that 2-drop is really phenomenal. And his ability, his reaction to refill the dynasty slots there, that's really what you want. I know Hollis and Corey are talking about it from using StarCraft terms, the Zerg rush, all the little Zergies, going in, and it's just cheap swarm after swarm after swarm. So if that's the terminology that's being sticking, what you want to do, and there's not really a lot of draw and refill mechanic in this game yet. So this is actually a really sweet bonus to get that refill, because that's what these decks want to do. They want to make sure they're churning out enough characters and the right characters at the right time to grab these combos and get these boosts. So I really think this is a good card for what it is. Mitigating the risk to reward. Yes, he's probably going to be assassinated off if they have it in hand, but I mean, sometimes you just have to go for it. And that in these rush decks, that's what they're doing. They're just hoping you don't have the counter to it or the stop plug, and let's just push all out.
Yeah, and just to kind of add to, I mean, they're not like always just going to assassinate every single time. They usually wait for you to put an attachment or something on, but it's also because they don't have too many better targets than Lion, just because of the way their cost curve works. But there's also different ways you can play this. So like me personally, when I play Lion, I play kind of like an honor rush hybrid. So I almost never put extra fate past the 2 on this guy. Because like when I play him, I'm just like, he's just flipping my province. So hopefully give me a better guy to bring out, or just give me more options for like my next turn or my next buy, or just in the conflict phase. And maybe I honor him and gain an honor off of him whenever he leaves play. Because I'm just trying to also take up my honor counter a little bit. But there might be some people who'll play him where they may put an extra fate to try to get the honored and then have a stronger character going in the next turn. That's not my preference of this, but to each his own.
Yeah, I don't know if I would fade him up heavy. I'd probably just let him come out. If he pings off, try and get him honored, and then receive the honor like leaving play.
Yeah, I think it might be a little bit of a trap if you try to put extra fate on him, because if you invest that extra and then you lose the conflict and then you get dishonored, like you put extra fate on effectively a 0/0, who's then going to lose you an honor, which is very counterproductive for Lion. So. Cool. Anything else you want to add to this guy? Are we ready to move on?
Yeah, move it.
Okay. So next in order is the clan champion, Akoto Totori. So he is a Bushi champion. He costs 5. He has a military of 6, a political of 3, and a glory of 3. And his reaction ability, after you claim a ring during a military conflict in which this character is participating, resolve that ring's effect. So it gives you a way, effectively, as the attacker, you can kind of double trigger the ring ability, which is pretty cool. So initially when I picked this up, I kind of crapped on this guy pretty hard. But as I played him more and more, I was very wrong, and I think he's pretty legit. But it's also because I don't think I ever pay for this guy to come into play. I think most of the time my Akoto Totori is coming off a charge or a spirit caller. So he's fantastic value when he's free or cost 1. But I'm a big fan. Like he's your best target for Way of the Lion, because the 6 military swing is huge. If you find a way to get him honored, he's a 9 beat stick. But being able to double trigger a ring on something that you're already scarily good at, which is military conflicts, is really impactful. And again, depends on your style, right? Double earth, big card advantage swing. You're going on the offense. You double water and bow a bunch of your opponent's characters to come back in or prevent them from your counterattack. Double air, a 4 honor swing is pretty big, especially again if you're playing an honor running style Lion. So there's some pretty interesting synergies there. Now, a little bit of a clarification. It has been kind of ruled, if you're unaware, about how this works on the defense. So if he successfully wins a military conflict on the defense, he can trigger his ability, but because of the wording on you using ring effects only as the attacking player, it doesn't work where you get to trigger the ring effect. You can make your opponent, the attacking player, trigger the ring effect. So don't think you can use him to fire off a ring when you win a defense. You okay over there, Hollis? You look...
He's stressing.
Oh, I can't hear you.
Oh, so I'm okay.
Yeah.
It feels like the card would have been fine if it just simply allowed you to like basically use the effect if you won as the defender as well. You just don't double it.
Yeah.
But
I think the issue might have been maybe from early version to press. They might have made a clarification about the rings only triggering on the attacking player.
yeah.
So maybe it'll get clarified, but as written right now, it doesn't work that way. So just be aware if you're using him on the defense. He doesn't suddenly grant you the ability to trigger a ring effect in the way you think it does. So,
so from my side of things, this is the flip of the Crane champion. I do like the fact that he's Bushi.
Yeah.
And triggering the ring or being able to double trigger a ring is very, very powerful. But this card here being in the Lion faction and being able to combo with all of that stuff that Corey was talking about, being able to cheat him into play better than what Crane has. So far the advantage here is the Lion champion. I still don't think that he is the best champion in the game, or this is I mean, who are we kidding? Right now we're playing Corset, so obviously you have 3 of your champions in your deck, but trying to think long term here, I just think this is a really good card. But this is not going to be super. This is not super crazy or super broken or super OP or any of those other terms right now.
Yeah, he's a big dude with stats.
Yeah,
and a cool ability.
Yeah, and again, it's balanced well within the Lion framing of what they want to do. So you pick the right ring at the right time and all that goodness. It's good.
Yeah.
You'll get the bonuses for it, but
I mean,
you're gonna have to play him with combos and actually to get value out of him.
Mm-hmm. I mean, again, being able to double trigger rings on certain points in the game can be backbreaking. So that ability is definitely nothing to be taken lightly. Especially if you time it where you're first player, you get the first challenge, and you get good knowledge of the board state. It's pretty damn good. And again, like something's to be said about a 6 military swing off one way of the Lion, that it can swing battles really quickly. And the biggest thing again, like the Lion very rarely pays 5 for this guy. So he can be pretty expensive, but they have a lot of ways to just cheat their champion in the play. They're kind of in the unicorn aspect of ways to sneak him in and then make him stick around for a little bit. And he's right up there. Tori likes to sneak in.
Yeah, and you need a heavy hitter amongst the minions that you're throwing on the board like this. Grab this guy honored, and hopefully you can stick him for a round or two, but just go hard, fast, and furious.
There you go, man. Fucking Vin Diesel, that shit. Yeah. All right. Sorry. Language. So cool. Anything else anyone wants to add? No? Okay.
No, I said my piece there.
All right, cool.
Like I don't think there's much to say about it. That's why I just think it's good, right? And
yeah, it's good.
And cheat him in, and he becomes great at that time.
Yeah, I mean, as I've been playing him, I've not brought out Tottori, and my opponent's gone, I thought you were going to bring out someone better. so that's usually a good sign that he's pretty impactful. All right, so the next card as we go down our list is Death Seeker. So this is Bushi, cost 2, military 2, political 1, glory 0. Reaction. After this character loses a conflict as an attacker, sacrifice this character, choose a character controlled by your opponent. If that character has no fate on it, discard it. Otherwise, remove 1 fate from that character. I will tell you my initial reactions of this. I tried playing this when I first built and dabbled with Lion, and I felt like it was a pretty lackluster and unimpressive ability for the cost. I think if you try to trigger, like, one, you don't want to lose conflicts as Lion, and you don't want a lot of 2-for-2 military, because considering, again, you have a lot of cheaper options that give you more stats. And the 0 glory is kind of meh with a lot of honor triggers and stuff you have. I just wasn't a huge fan of this card. I can see where the reaction trigger can matter somewhat, but I think that's very matchup dependent. I just feel like there's better options in Clan for something you can pick and play with. So my initial reaction to this card is it's okay. It's not bad, but it's not something I say you should immediately give deck slots to.
No, this is just kind of under the average line for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've see my problem with this is you are sacrificing a challenge almost. So after this character loses a conflict as an attacker, so if that didn't have that caveat as an attacker, like, I would, maybe throw this in as a defense if the stats, the stats would probably have to be a little more balanced if that was the case. But on these military rush decks, like a game of L5R, like, you have to understand the time frame that you're dealing with, and maybe when you're first starting out, a game is, say, like, let's just say for the sake of argument, I throw it out there, I'm just going to say like 10 turns. Okay. That's way long, but I'm just saying, right? Yeah. I just want numbers, right? Just so you know what I'm talking about. But once you start to learn the game and get it going, a game will realistically be half the time that you're taking now, like, 5 turns. And so giving up one of your two conflicts on that turn is just, I feel, is very counterproductive with this. Like, that's why I'm not drawn to this card. I'm thinking right now, because it's the only options we have to kind of fill out Destiny. Like, you want to put the Lion guys in there, and it does, if you can pull it off, okay. If you really need to work in and control the board and do a little character removal and stuff like that, it's there. But this is, this is not something that I really want to trade off one of my two per turn conflicts. That's a tempo swing that I don't think I'm willing to sacrifice.
Yeah, and I know some people may think of it like an insurance policy. Like, I'll buy this character, and if the conflict doesn't go well, I at least have this reaction as like a fallback. But if you think about it, like, it's very niche on very specific where the trigger is really good. Because if they already don't have fate and you're discarding it, odds are, unless they played some trickery, that character was bowing anyway, and it was probably going away regardless. So yeah, there's certain clans that's good, like Crab, who might sneak out a reprieve or something like that. But I don't know. This card it's cut in my, like, I don't run it in the Lion deck that I'm playing currently. But it does have cool artwork. So there's that.
Shout out to Travis in chat. He's our first L5R sponsor during it. Really appreciate you helping us out.
Whoa! Thanks, Travis. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, awesome.
Nice.
Thanks. So I'm gonna actually play devil's advocate on this card a little bit.
Please
I'm not saying that it's good. I want to make that very clear. I'm not saying that the card is good, but I think that I want to give this perspective. I think that as someone, like, so after playing with and looking at Lion a little bit, something that's very clear is that there's going to be times during the game, based on how you evaluate how much your opponent has invested fate into certain characters, especially in the early game, it'll determine very much what you want to do for your first two conflicts of the game. I find it really rare, personally, that based on like an average good flop in the beginning of the game, where you may have something that costs 3, something that costs 1, that you're actually going to succeed on both of your conflicts on the very first and maybe second turn of the game. Like, that's pretty common you don't succeed on both. To me, the benefit of a card like Deathseeker is that that premise is irrelevant for you. Because with a Deathseeker by itself, as Lion doing two things. One, you're baiting an assassin that basically can be used on, and if we're going to be honest, better characters. So you could be baiting an assassin that's probably better used on other characters. But additionally, you can choose to, because you know that you really can only succeed on one actual attack going into that first and second turn, you can choose to make Deathseeker someone you want to do an attack with, knowing it could potentially fail, for the added benefit of helping your opponent lose value, because it's any character they have in play. So especially for your very first conflict, maybe the conflict you're pretty confident you're not going to succeed in, taking a Deathseeker and as Lion, probably just say, I'm going to do a political attack right now as one. Go. You can either choose to undefend. If you do so, you lose an honor and I get the ring effect. Or if you do defend, you'll win, and I'm going to remove a fate off of someone you've invested heavily in, or directly delete a character that's in play. And to me, something like that's really interesting, because it means that you now have this unique sort of counterplay for being aggressive, but yet still knowing that you probably won't win. And that's still something that I think Lion wants, because it fits very much into their theme, right? Like, it fits very much. It fits with them thematically. They can be aggressive, but still take advantage of the board state, even when losing and being aggressive in that regard.
No, it's a good point. I mean, I do think the cool thing about this card that I do like is that the card does have a political. So being able to send someone as a political challenge where you're probably going to lose it anyway, but now that threat's on the table is pretty neat. Yeah. As we've seen some of the previews, like the Dragon Stone that got previewed in one of the articles, if you start seeing more cards that kind of need to exist and sit on the board to have permanent effects, where the removal threat might be more beneficial, that's where this card could then see more play in decks, where it needs to be able to reach out and impact characters that are trying to stay away from conflicts and just exist on the board. And being able to tick their clock up or just to take them off. If you start seeing more cards that play around with that mechanic, then this card can start finding its way back in the decks or see more play or get more use out of it.
Yeah, and for those people that are new to the living card game format or to card games in general, keep in mind that what we're saying is based on not a tight time window, but as the game moves into its living format and new cards are released and the card pool expands, the value of a card can drastically swing, obviously based on what is coming. So right now we're talking, from our current available card pool, and what we, can share.
Yeah, please pay attention to the date this video was posted. So if you watch this a year later, please reserve judgment. So,
definitely. Yeah, keep that in mind.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Anything else you want to add?
No,
anyway, man. Good insight, Hollis. Like, I don't disagree at all with that. So
yeah, using it on the political side is well played.
The card wants to lose. Like, you only get a benefit if the card loses. That's it. Like, not very good, but sure. If I got to lose, then I'm gonna go for the loss.
Yeah, but usually you don't know the meaning of the word.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're gonna move on to the Honor General. This is a Bushi commander. He is a cost 4, military 3, political 1, glory 2. During a conflict in which this character is participating, each other participating Lion character you control gets +1 military. Reaction: after this character enters play, honor it. Amazing.
Yeah, I can tell you off the bat. So again, like looking at your ratio of what you play, 7 fate. and this is going to cost 4 of it. This is one of those 4-cost cards that are really standing on the shoulders of those other 4-cost cards.
Yeah. I mean, just look at the artwork. Like, this card knows it's a badass.
Yeah. you always go back to the artwork.
I mean, he just knows it. He comes on the play. He's got that look like, yeah, bro, I honor myself. I'm buffing all my friends around me. I'm not even unique. So if you get another one of me out here, we're just high-fiving each other, having a great time.
Yeah, non-unique. So if you can get this guy to sit around and then bring another one in,
yeah, holy
Toledo.
Honor General is one of the few characters I find in line that I will put an extra fate on when I bring him out, if it's available. I will try to stick him at least one other turn than just like the rush of funneling dudes to like cycle out.
No, because this guy is going to actually, he's the gas that's going to pump those little minions. This is the backbone card that is your setup for pushing that rush properly. And he is he's really good as a 4-cost. For what he's coming in on, 5/3.
Yeah, he's a 5/3 for 4.
Yeah,
he's again buffing everybody else.
Yeah, and the buff.
I made the joke a lot how like this is the clan champion in the deck. So when you bring out the Honor General, you can bring out multiples of your clan champion. He's what are your thoughts on the Honor General, Hollis? How do you feel when you see him come into play?
My heart sinks. Well, I mean, it's with 2 honor. I mean, effectively, when it hits the board, it's a 4-cost 5/3.
Yeah,
which seems good.
Yeah,
and then the added benefit that it basically combos right with every other participating lion character. I mean, this is what we mentioned earlier. Like, this is a common trait among lion characters. Hey, how many characters are active in the same conflict? Well, they get a +1, and then this guy's there, so they all get an additional +1, and then you have your stronghold, so they all get a +1. So, often strength in numbers here isn't just that you have like the 3-drop, the 4-drop, and your champion. It like for lion, it can be, I have Honor General, and I have a 1-drop. And I have a 1-drop, and I have a 1-drop, and it's like, what? Like, how? Like, what is happening? All of a sudden, and instead of having all this fate invested into these very hefty characters, you have these little beautiful weenies. They get an additional +1 from this general, and then they get an additional +1 from your stronghold, and so you're like, what? Hold on, this 1/1's a 3/3 now. What is going on? Like, what happened? Or sorry, a 3/1 now. I think it's pretty good. Like, I like Honor General for no other reason, but because it also tells me that for my secondary victory path, or primary, I guess it really depends on board state. If I'm not trying to break provinces, if I just want to go for the glory, I have a character that comes into play knowing I'm going to gain additional honor when he leaves. So,
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's also been some really neat tricks in the honor run where you'll just keep cycling in Honor Generals because they'll come in honored and then remove themselves after like the Spirit Caller action or at the end of the turn, and you just have another way to kind of drip honor as you go up. It's pretty cute.
It's cute?
Yeah, man. It's cute.
It's pretty cute.
By the way, nice job dropping strength in numbers. Card preview coming soon.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's the thing.
See, it all comes back. See, all the line cards synergize.
That is the thing.
That's why he can never be a playtester.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So I don't know if there's anything else you really need to add. I mean, Honor General, you're playing with 3 of them, most likely.
You want to see him. You want to get him on the board. You want to fuel that out.
Yeah, he's never a card that you're really going to flip up and you're going to be like, oh, man, my Honor General showed up.
Yeah.
No, you're going to be like, hell yeah, my Honor General showed up. It's go time.
And I think the sticking him with the 1 fate is the is obviously the play.
He's the lion that forms the head.
Yeah, Voltron style, right?
Oh no!
Yeah.
Somewhere out there, somebody is like jamming really hard to nerdcore rap music, and and they heard that and they were like, yes, this is like, I knew it.
I feel like you're working off dual monitors, and like you have that line there on like a notepad or something open. You're like my lion jokes that are now related to Voltron. You're just like cross that one. I've been
so pumped for this episode. Like all my line related.
Well, in transition, if Honor General forms the head, well, maybe our next card could possibly be like, I don't know, some weird little tack on appendage.
I'm a leg.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess next we'll go to Akoma Eji. So he is a courtier of the Lion Clan. He is a cost 4, military 1, political 3, glory 3. His reaction is after you lose a political conflict, put a Bushi character with printed cost 3 or lower into play from your Dynasty discard pile or provinces. So first, I just want to throw out that I've had quite a few conversations with individuals when they talk about clans that can do well in the political spectrum. And I'll always be like, well, Lion's pretty good, in political. And they're just like, how many courtiers do they have? And then you have to like enlighten them with how many courtiers Lion actually have and how good most of them are. Akoma Eji is pretty legit. There's some pretty neat tricks with some of the other Lion characters that trigger. You bring them in play. I will say, like, I don't run him in the deck that I'm currently playing, but I think he will be phenomenal when a more honor run style build comes into play. Because he gives you another courtier, 3 glory, which is a huge swing if you can honor this guy, and being able to keep like cycling, like you have a conflict you can go into, and if you lose, and the option's like, hey, do you let me win and take this, or do you have me lose and I get to bring someone out for free to either defend or be able to counterattack in the military to add more bodies to that swarm coming in on my next challenge. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, I don't. Hollis, you want to go next?
No, please proceed.
Thank you.
No, man, you have that look on your face like you've got something.
Yeah, that's
Bro,
why
I'm good. I'm good, man. Do you?
He's ready to drop some knowledge on me after I.
Do you, bro?
I look at this again, and to echo pieces of what Corey has said, I just don't feel like it's his time. Right. I'm not underestimating the courtier tag on this card, because that's an important piece. But the problem is when I look at this card as a 4 cost compared to what we just came from as the general, this is very heavily weighing it down. And now it's also unique.
Yes. Yeah, he's unique.
So, he's not going to, again, be that awesome value like the general does. 4 cost, boom, boom, and I'm stacking them and I'm boosting and I'm doing stuff. So I just, obviously if you can get him honored, he can do work for you on the political side. So, I mean, that's kind of cool. But I just think right now in the space that Lion is in, I really think that this is a counterproductive card compared to what it's trying to do. I would rather use that for fate and continue, to keep up with our terminology, to keep up with the Zergling rush, to keep up pumping those guys out, than spend time worrying about how this guy is going to come into play with it.
Yeah, and I do absolutely agree with the fact that he's another 4-coster, and that's where he struggles to find deck space, in my opinion. Because again, you compare him to the Honor General, the playstyle that Lion wants to play right now. They don't have all the cards yet, I think, to really play around with a more like defensive political focus. But I think his time will come. His moment in the sun will get here. And all right, Hollis, come on.
Yeah, do me wrong, Hollis. Tell me, what did I miss here?
Like, okay, so
yeah,
going from top to bottom, right? going from top to bottom, and I'm trying to rate this based on like additional like cards I've seen so far in the game. So 4 costs for 1/3 is incredibly underwhelming. Like in fact, like stat wise, as far as like just military and like political like numbers, it's embarrassingly low. Mm-hmm. Like a 4 for 1/3 is embarrassingly low. And so then you're like, all right, so if that's low, that means the ability has to be great. And actually, if you look at like value here, it's not bad. Losing a political conflict, put a Bushi character with printed cost 3 or lower into play from your dynasty discard pile of provinces. Not bad. Like that's actually like that means that some of the cards that we very much enjoy, that like one of which in particular we are going to discuss later, in I think appropriate detail, is really good here because like that card adds like the card in question that we'll talk about later adds an absurd amount of value. But I don't know, like, so I made the point before about Deathseeker, and that was a very like I feel like a very niche point because I like when I'm discussing Deathseeker, I'm trying to make it clear like, hey, I'm only playing this at the cost here to like get a win out of like a tempo loss. Because I'm basically paying 2 to remove 1, and I'm not or delete a character, and I'm not confident that is a great tempo shift for me to lose 2. So
you could put the Deathseeker out with this card, can you? Right there.
I mean, you could.
Yay! There's your double combo, man.
But
and just try to lose twice.
Yeah. But Deathseeker isn't that good, and I feel like inherently you normally don't try to lose. Like I joke about Deathseeker, but that's out of the concept of here of being aggressive. Now maybe you do the same thing with is it Aiji or Iji?
Yeah, man, go for it.
Whatever. Like maybe you do the same thing. Is you say, you know what, I've got political. Screw it, I'm in. Go. Like, are you able to stop this? I hope you can, because if you do, I'm going to gain a character back in play. Maybe that's the plan here. But at a 4 cost, that seems so expensive. I would rather either like they do something different with the glory, or to be quite honest with you, make this card like a 3-drop and reduce the stats even further. That's how real I am right now. Because at a 4 cost, that is a hard sell for tempo for the possibility of getting a 3 cost or less in play. Because especially if I'm losing this conflict, that means that when I lose this conflict, the character I put in play needs to actually make up for that loss. And there is a card in Lion that makes up for it, that we'll discuss probably in the next couple cards, maybe. But like, I guess I don't know. I'm not a fan. I'm not confident this is good enough, especially considering
your foreshadowing game is strong right now.
Yeah. The reason why I don't think this card is that good is because like I feel like this fate can just straight up get invested into other cards that are very good at 3-drop or 2-drop.
Yeah, so. My situation where I'm like alluding to is if they come up with a way to have more characters and maybe cheaper characters that might gain like an honor trigger or do something with honor when they come into play, he could be an interesting way to kind of have like an honor drip mechanism. That's where I think like his little trick. So I think if there ends up becoming enough cards to support kind of like a dedicated honor run style deck for Lion, he could be an interesting piece for that style build. Yeah. But with the way that Lion are built and play right now, I don't think he justifies a spot for the cost.
Yeah.
So, and I absolutely 100% agree with you. I think its cost is just too high compared to what he does. Because, yeah, he can have a trigger that can be, like, really good. I mean, you're right. There are some characters that triggering off of this can be pretty crazy. But do you want to pay for him for this maybe trigger that you might be able to orchestrate and have hit? Or would you rather invest that in some guaranteed better bodies to be able to play and have out?
And for the record, when you're using terms like, I agree with everything you're saying and you're right, you're talking about me, right? Not Hollis.
So the next card we're going to is...
Because I pretty much said everything like that in like 2 sentences.
Yeah, he did do that.
Okay, all right. Well, you're both right. How about that?
Hey,
Hollis,
you made it.
Hollis, you're a very honorable man. I think you'll do well in this faction.
What? Did somebody say honor? Well, let's talk about our next character, the Akoma Prodigy. So this is another courtier for the Lion Clan, Cost 1, military 0, political 2, glory 1. Reaction, after one or more fate is placed on this character, gain 1 honor. It's good. And again,
Yes.
it feeds into an honor gaining type mechanism. Lion likes to gain honor. They like to have more honor than their opponent, as you'll see off other things. And it gives you a cheap cost courtier to allow you to play some really snazzy political cards.
Hey,
Yeah. So
for shame.
So as this card stands,
stuff.
does this card stand on its own? No, it does not. Is this card a piece of a bigger puzzle that you're going to have to try and combo up? Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Because I just think that, like, this is not a kind of card that, again, managing that, my 7 fate, my flower power, I'm, I don't know, right? Like, because as a 1-drop, okay, it's decent, right? Because,
I mean, it's like a better Atomic Courtier at that point.
right, but then the thing is that it's tricking you to pay into it.
Right.
So it's not really a 1-drop. Like, that's basically it. Like to play this by itself, put it out. You just muffed it, right?
Yeah.
This is realistically at least a 2 cost card.
And I think that ultimately depends on how you're trying to play it. If you're trying to go for an honor style, or you're trying to get a big honor curve, and I think a lot of it, you should look at your matchup. Like, you're playing Scorpion, it might be worth getting the honor off this card to make it really harder if they're trying to do like dishonor victory. But there are some clans where the honor may not necessarily be that important. If you have obstinate recruits that are sitting on the table, hell yeah, this card helps you keep up, make sure you don't lose them doing something stupid. So there's some interesting little things, but I think it's a big card where you have to look at the board state. You have to think about, what am I trying to do? What does the table look like right now? How much of a benefit am I getting putting an extra fate on this character currently? The cool thing is, this is still a character that can get buffed by the Stronghold. It's still a character that gets buffed by the Honor General. So even though on appearance she's a 0 military, it's not that hard to get her having at least 1 or 2 or other things. So the illusion that she's just political is but an illusion. So with enough lion characters, she could be kicking down doors and, breaking into houses, burning things down, going crazy. So she can cut loose. That's what I'm saying. Watch her. But yeah. So it's cool. I mean, it's, yeah.
Well, I think
spring break.
I don't. I'm not sure how serious Travis was in chat, but I mean, honor plays more of a bigger role, than you think, even if it depends on who you're playing, right? Like,
yeah.
For when you make your bids, yeah, right? It allows you, if I can pull 1 honor off this card, that's basically worth, a card on my next bid that I can up that. That buffer up. So you
can look at it as an investment for cards later in the game. I mean, because you can have points too, right? So you could play like a style, or you might have a deck where you try to do like an honor run thing, but you'll get to a point in the game where you kind of decide, like, is this a legitimate way for me to win this matchup, or am I winning by military? And if you come to that point where you're like, I have to military this game out, and I have a large well of honor, you can just go crazy with like 5-card draws. It used to be like 5 cards, 5 cards, 5 cards. And it turns out Lion have some pretty good conflict cards. So
yes,
that's not a bad thing. And so to build up that reservoir to be able to dip into like mid to late game is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Move it.
All right.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good. All right. Hollis, I'm going to give you first dibs on this one. All right?
Oh, no.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, because you've been kind of getting the second, third hand.
I'm okay with that.
I'm gonna give you a solid one to get.
I'm a newer person to the game. I should be the second or third.
You know what?
So maybe
in the game of metaphorical volleyball, you're just like serving him up these these slow pitches, man. Actually, now I've crossed games over those. I've crossed volleyball and baseball.
Well,
my metaphor game is weak tonight.
Yeah, if you've in the strike zone. Pretty sure it's the red zone.
Yeah, touchdown.
So, anyway, if you've played against Lion, you've probably seen this card, and you've probably not been super excited when it hits the table. But the next card is the Kitsu Spirit Caller. This is a Sugenja of Water. It is a cost 3, military 1, political 3, glory 2. Has this pretty cool ability. Action. During a conflict, bow this character. Choose a character in one of your discard piles. Put that character into play in the conflict. If that character is still in play at the end of the conflict, return it to the bottom of its deck. So, Hollis, what does that mean you could do if you, say, have, like, your clan champion or an honor general in your discard pile?
Well, it means that... Man, this is so stupid. Like... So, it's like, this is so dumb. So, number one, like, this is this does a couple things, but the first thing it does is, it actually, to some extent, for Lion, it encourages you to not overinvest in high fate costed characters, because Kitsu Spirit Caller will allow you to just simply say, look, I'm bowing Kitsu, and my champion, who's a 6/3, comes in for this conflict. Now that my champion has done its job, or now that Lion Pride Brawler has done its job, it now goes to the bottom of my deck. So it also helps you prevent yourself from losing the 5 honor as you run out of cards in your Dynasty deck, which I know is like a less and less common thing to happen
currently.
But knowing that it gives you that additional resilience to that game effect is still good. Not only that, but it's also the matter of, so this card is 3 for a 1/3, so it's like, it's meh, but it has 2 glory. If this card is honored, awesome.
Yeah.
Like, that means his stats get pretty good. And then just knowing you have the honor, like, secondary win condition always kind of in your bag of tricks, and you can pull out, like Corey said, an honor general and just basically say, boom, look, I got him in play, and when he leaves, guess what happens?
Gain an honor.
Time to gain that honor, guys. Mm-hmm. Like, we're back at it. Like stuff like that is just pretty gross. Like, I don't know. Like,
other cool tricks is, again, take special attention to the fact it's an either discard. So you can also, like, pull your Master of Spear from your conflict discard out, and then you have a send home ability loaded in on the attack, and you're just like, cool, send him home. Yeah, man, Kitsu Spirit Caller is real good.
Yep.
So here's the question.
No, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
I will chime in.
He's escalated the description. It's also got cool artwork.
And I've said it before. This game doesn't really have search, and it doesn't really have a lot of draw right now. So something like this to grab the recursion of a card that you have already played and is mind-blowingly powerful. And this card is not going away anytime soon. You're playing Lion, you're going to see this card. So you're going to see, probably max copies of this card. So potentially that means that the best card in the deck is going to be coming out 6 times.
If it keeps coming, if you can keep finding one to bin.
I'm just saying, right? Like, potentially. Yeah. So, and like Hollis touched on, this is so linchpin, for them to be the dominant rush faction, because I can put a clan champion out. I don't have to invest. Most people will have to be like, oh, my clan champion costs 5. I've got him in my opening. Do I put the 2 extra fate on him and, somehow keep him around and just hope to God I can make it through this turn with enough boards, presence and cards left. And this here is allowing you to put out your little guys and then invest in, like a 4 cost, or you have your champion and, 2 other one-off guys. So
man,
it's so phenomenal to get that swing and to hit with that tempo that Lion wants. This is better than perfect. And as the game grows and more powerful cards and people become in Lion, this card is only even getting better and better then.
Yeah. I mean, he was it. You have like the hologram Tupac, you get the hologram Totori, and the hologram Honor General that just pops up, shows up on the battlefield.
I don't know what that means. Is that like an evolution of Pokemon thing?
Right. Oh my God, no. Whenever I see a card like this, my only question is like, how did they how is this card as good as it is without a bit more restrictions?
No, so I will go there. I will answer that question, Corey.
Okay,
I will answer that.
I'll add it if you miss anything, because I will point out where there are some drawbacks and things to be aware of with this card.
The reason these cards get printed, Hollis, is because they fall into what we like to call corset. And if anybody has played any of these games before, the power level of some cards in core are set, are too high, and this card is phenomenal. So this is a core set card that we will be talking about why you need. We will be talking about why you need to buy 3 core sets. And this is one of the reasons.
So I'm gonna chime in here. So one, I'm a huge fan of this card. If you're a Lion Clan player, you should also be a huge fan of this card. But there are a few key things to be aware of. One, this card is not great to see early game. Like, you don't want to flip these in your opening pool, and they can be probably even so on the second turn of the game. So you like to see them a little later in the game where you've filled up your bin with a few things. So early game, they're not that great. Okay, you're probably not going to bring them out. So there's a little bit. Also, be super aware if your opponent has a Casada on board, because then you have to kind of play around to make sure you can trigger this ability in a conflict. So watch out for the cancel. Also, pro tip, if you're playing against a Scorpion player and they have a Shishiro Actress, and this card has gone away, you're in for a bad time, because if you think it's annoying for you to pull out a Totori for free, wait till your opponent actresses your Spirit Caller and pulls out a Shoju for free. Then it's kind of like, I probably deserve that. That's on me. Good job. Good job, you. So you do need to be careful also in your matchup in certain situations where your really cool parlor tricks can be used against you.
Yeah, but that's Dragon as well too, right?
Oh yeah, because it's a copied ability. Because I think Yakuni can copy it and then bend someone. So there are certain situations. So there are some things that can keep it, and of course this target is also probably very likely to be like clouded the mind, to blank the ability and stuff like that. So just be aware. But if your opponent doesn't have an answer for it and you've got great stuff in your bin, this card is the jam. It's doing great things. So yeah.
Next.
Spirit Callers, 3 of. Cool.
Yeah.
Good card.
Next.
Oh, speaking of another card that's probably going to be 3 of in your deck.
Hollis calls them 3Xs.
3Xs? Cool, man. Here's the 3Xs. One of my favorite cards in the entire game is the Lion's Pride Brawler. This card is, wait for it, a Bushi and a Courtier. Cost 3, military 3, political 2, glory 1. Has this pretty neat ability. Action. While this character is attacking, choose a character with equal or lower military skill than this character. Battle that character. Now, real quick, I also want to add that this artwork is phenomenal, and I think this artwork is a perfect example of what this is like a great example of the Lion Clan, in the sense that yes, this character may be a courtier, but she still can probably kick your ass. So as this courtier is finding out in the picture where he probably smarted off some comment, and it's about to go down.
Don't kill the messenger.
So it's great. It's very thematic, really cool card. Yeah. I'm sure you guys have some stuff you want to add about this, some neat little synergies. Here's a cool one. Hey Hollis, does the character you bow have to be in the conflict when you're attacking with the Pride Brawler?
Shut up, Corey.
Hollis,
shut the hell up, Corey.
Did you get beat by that, man? Did someone bow?
Shut up, Jameson. Everyone shut up in here, okay? I'm tired of your shit. This card is ridiculous. I'm tired of this. Everybody shut up.
No, this definitely is a candidate for one of the strongest cards in the game right now. But it definitely draws a lot of attention when it hits the table. Bro. I mean, it dictates your opponent has to play around this card.
What are you laughing at?
How is it okay that versus a champion, the Crane champion,
or Scorpion champion as well,
or Scorpion champion, this weak ass 3-cost character straight up bows them?
Yeah, man.
No dispute, no chat, like nothing. Just like straight up, like, hey, action, bow him. By the way, are you not participating in the conflict that I have to initiate? Irrelevant, bow. Wait a minute. Like, is it my base military? No, BRB. Let me add some fine katanas. Bow. Like nothing about it makes sense. Like you would, I'm shouting because it actually, like, as far as like a balance for this card, it does not make sense for a 3-drop. I'm actually upset at it a little bit. It does not make sense. Like, why does it not have the clarifier that it needs to be your base value, which is already 3? That's over half the cards in the game right now. Over half the cards in the game are 3 drops or less. So this card already has it, like 65% of the cards in the game you bow without doing anything else but initiating the attack. That was already good. If that was the ability, it would still be a 3x. Let me change it up for you. Hold on,
Hollis, really quick. A slight clarification. I'm going to try to say this with a straight face. In order to use the ability, Hollis, you do have to be the attacker.
It doesn't matter, Corey. It doesn't matter. It's a 3. It has 3 military and 2 political. It doesn't even. That means that it's like not great at political, but it still can contribute in a way that actually can be reasonable. And then for military, it's still better than half of the cards, over half the cards that generate any kind of military value. So it actually can bow over half the cards in the game.
I don't
already blank. Just saying, like, hey, I'm gonna do a military here. Bow that guy at home. Bow that guy at home.
So one thing. I mean, definitely a few things I'll throw in here. I mean, bow is one of the strongest mechanics in the game. Being able to bow characters is much more impactful than just sending people home. That being said, all right, throw a little bit out here. You do see a lot more people play. You do see a lot more people playing with things like Ready for Battle. Unicorn players would play probably with I Am Readies. You've got characters like Borderlands Defender. I will tell you, this character gets Haruma ambushed a lot. So Scorpion decks who splash Crab. This is like a big card that they like will save an ambusher for to jump out and be like, nah, bruh, you're not doing this ability. And again, it's another candidate to throw in power levels of cards like Cloud of Mind and things that take away abilities.
Yes.
Also, it's important that if you're the first player, and it's not the Lion player, well, then you can try to push tempo to try to find a way to mitigate the effectiveness of this card.
Yeah, but if you're first player and you are correct. The Lion player and you get this out turn 1 first play,
it's fantastic.
That's tempo setting, man. That's turning point.
But that's the thing though. Like again, this card when it hits the table,
that gives Hollis
it draws attention, and your opponent has to deal with it. They have to plan around it. Yeah.
Yeah. That was literally me. That was literally me watching a Crane champion be like, bow. I was like, How is this okay? How is that okay?
What are you trying to say? Did you try and fake a seizure and then get like a delay a game or something?
I had a seizure immediately. I was like, this makes sense.
Thematic alert. So it is funny that it's the only ones that are impacted, I guess, seems to be the Crane and the Scorpion, as those are the closest ones to the Emperor in the throne. All the others who are further away is not bothered by the Brawler. So thematic win. So yeah, cool. So then just play with a champion who's not a scrub. That's what I'm saying. That's cool, man.
Play no champions.
Here, let me
play dragon.
So tonight we were talking about
Yokuni is super thrilled about that ability. You play this out with Yokuni on the table, he's like, yeah, cool, man. That's a pretty neat. It's a pretty cool battle effect you got there.
Yeah, let me try that out.
Yeah,
just give me a taste of that for a second.
Yeah. And also again, this is a 3-cost character, so while she is not able to be assassinated, there are some steal effect cards that you do also need to be aware of. Again, lest your tricks be used against you.
Lest your tricks be used against
you. Cool.
We were talking about this card tonight at a friend's house, and I'm going to make some statements out here, and I guarantee, I can't guarantee, but I bet you and some of the people in chat will probably agree, guys. Here we go. Here's the list. You ready? So right now, this card is an auto-include 3X. So you ready? I'm about to hit you with some changes. You tell me if this card is still a 3X include with these changes. You ready? Not necessarily all together, but individually. Here it comes. Is it still a 3X include if the characters have to be participating?
Yes.
Is it still a 3X include if the only characters that can be affected involve your base military skill?
Yeah.
Is it still a 3X include if its political score was null?
Probably not, because it's a courtier.
Okay, what about 0?
It's a courtier. How are you going to be a courtier with 0 political?
But hypothetical. Even though it's Bushi courtier, right? If its political score was null as a Bushi courtier, and it still said based on your military value as is, you can bow any character. So wait, I want to be clear. I want to make sure we are crystal clear here. Are you telling me a card that you can attach a fine katana to can auto bow anything that's in game without modifiers, and you don't?
You can't bow a Borderlands defender.
I'm dead. Like, come on. I'm saying, like, that means that, like, at a null, like, no political value.
You are correct. You also could bow a Border Rider.
Where
where
are you going next? Are you gonna?
No, that's it. Like, the point I'm trying to make is, like, this card could actually have a 0. I honestly feel like
can't be used against someone who has the Imperial favor.
Yeah.
If still a 3X Hall.
Because this card can bow anybody as long as you're attacking, it can bow someone from anywhere. It doesn't matter if they're in the conflict or not.
Yeah, man.
That means
today I bowed someone at like another game. I just bowed their card. I was just like, sorry, bro. Did you read this card?
I'm dead. I'm so dead. That's how good it is, though. They can bow characters in other games.
Corey, if you're that good, next time you and me at Gen Con, I'll play next to you, and I'll be like, hey, you gonna use that ability? Bow this guy over here, man.
I'll brawler him for you, man. Don't worry.
Props.
I got him.
Props.
Oh, that's a good point. Here's another question.
I feel like that would have came up in some weird Netrunner conversation, though, right?
Yeah.
Like,
did someone in chat just do like another hypothetical card change to see if it would still be a 3X?
Yeah, would it still be a 3X if the art was horrible?
Ooh, that's rough. That's hard for me, man.
That dude knows you right there.
Yeah,
that's rough. That's rough.
Man,
I don't like playing with cards. Terrible artwork.
Sorry,
it's hard.
Or you have to discard the favor to use it.
That's interesting. I don't know. Because then it wouldn't matter if you have multiples of them out.
Yeah.
Now if you have multiples of them out, it's ridiculous town. It's population U. Yeah.
So what's the basic fix? It should have just been in the conflict.
I do think like initially when I first played this card, I thought it was in the conflict, and then there was like the second pass, and I was like, what? Excuse me? Doesn't have to be in the conflict.
Wait, what? Hello?
Like holy crap, this card's insane. So yeah.
It's good. It's very
it's good.
Very
it's a great card. It's going to be a 3-of in your deck. If you're playing Lion, you're playing
I wonder
3.
if it was originally set like that, and then they're like, you know what? There's not enough cards to set Hollis off in this core set. Let's just make this change right here.
Maybe it's from all those people who were like, when Lion was previewed, they're like, oh, they're cool, but they're just kind of boring. They're just like bringing out dudes, and they're like, you know what's not boring? How about a Bushi courtier who just bows anyone? That's boring. Is that cool?
You know what?
Is that a little exciting? A little spice?
Let's roll on. This card is just too ridiculous.
It's great.
Wait. Hey, wait. The Dragon Champ can copy that ability, though, right?
That's what me and James were talking about with Yokuni. So there you go, man. Balance.
Your mind was too clouded during that rant.
Right.
Although that was a wonderful rant, and you see that Matt is now a sponsor of the show. Really appreciate you, Matt, sponsoring us for this month.
Thank you, Matt. That's very nice. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Awesome work.
Matt's 3x in Lions Pride Brawlers.
Damn right he is.
All right. So, all right. So, I cannot pronounce this character's name. So if someone wants to chime in. But the next character we're going to is a name character. It's Matsu. I don't know how to say this name correctly.
I'm gonna say
every time I
Bayona.
See, I feel like that's terribly wrong, and I don't know how that's thematic the way that's pronounced.
Bayona?
See, what is that? Where did this character come from then? If that's how you pronounce, anyway, I don't know. So sorry, really sorry. I'm sure there's someone out there who knows exactly how to say it. And they probably thinks we're idiots because we can't pronounce it. But Matsubi here is going to...
That's what I was going to say, actually.
Yeah.
I was even just going to say Matt B.
Matt B. Matt B here is a Bushi. Costs 3, military 3, political 2, glory 2.
Oh, Matt's actually a LPB for life. He's been he's an old school Lion.
There you go. He knows what's up. Reaction. After this character enters play, if you control 3 or more other Bushi characters, please note, this character is a Bushi, place 2 fate on this character.
But it says other. 3 or more other.
Yeah.
So it doesn't count itself.
So you need to have a lot of people out in order for this to trigger. And you need to get about a free fate and a 3/2 that sticks around.
But that's what Lion wants to do. It wants to have guys out, man.
It does.
I think this is good.
It's okay.
I'm not. Yeah, that's what I'm. Okay, so again, this is not fantastic, and if average is here, you're sitting above there. This is.
I think the best time I've ever played this card was when I was playing around with the Koma Edgy, and I went in for like a political. And then I was like, either I win this and I break the province, or I lose it, and I've got enough Bushi out that I'll be able to bring her in from my discard, and she'll gain 2 fate and then stick around.
But because this is what rush decks want to do, right? They want to have their cheap guys out, and then you want to bring in something like this card that is a 3 value investment, but then. Because I've got this combo, it sticks around for 2 other turns. Yeah,
it's not bad. I think what makes this card a little rough for me. So naturally, what would make this card better is if you have a really easy way to honor it. Right? If you're able to honor this character, then all of a sudden you've got yourself a 5/4 who's sticking around, and that's like, okay, now we're ramping up the value here. But the fact that like most of the time you're getting this for a 3 military, and you've got cheaper options for a 3 military, that you don't have to invest 3 fate into, it's it's one of those, like, I don't put it in like, oh yeah, absolutely, this goes in your deck, you're going to play this. Do I think it's bad if you play this card? No. I mean, I think it's a fine card. But I don't think it's like an auto include. Every Lion deck runs this. Every Lion deck runs 3X, whatever. But I don't. It's not like super exciting, but it's not bad.
I want to know what the most mediocre card in the game is, so I can always compare that. So I can be like, it's just above that line, you know.
What is the most mediocre card in the game?
But my mind went to where you were talking about there too, is about, well, if I can get this card honored, well then I'm getting like pure, you know, value out of it.
Yeah, because then at that point, you're pretty much getting, if you're able to like live the dream, right? Get it out with a 2 free fate and then get it honored. Like, you've got a huge value swing at that point. But you have to kind of orchestrate a few things in order to make that happen. And also, sometimes when you get some of these cards that want to trigger off a bunch of different characters, you have to be careful too to make sure you don't trap yourself into making a subpar decision in your dynasty phase in order to try to trigger this ability.
Yeah, but I think she still has a place in the Swarm, man.
Yeah, and she still looks cool.
Yeah.
So there's that too. I mean, she's about to stab the hell out of somebody. So.
Does Hollis
cool.
Hollis, you got anything else to say?
Is Hollis, is your mic plugged in?
No, it is. Like it's just. I feel like the only way this card like sees like a legitimate kind of like a fair amount of play is if you start to stagger some of the cards that you're playing before it comes out. So
yeah.
You have the 3-drop. You're gonna place a fate or 2 on it, and then you'll maybe play another 1-drop, and that's kind of it. And you'll reserve some fate, and then on the following turn, you'll buy another card, place maybe a single fate on it, and then now you have 2 characters in play, and now you have to do the follow-up that would be something akin to, here's a quick 1-drop, now I play Matsu, boom, I've got 2 fate on it, now I've saved fate, and I can put something else in play. And someone else made a good point. This card works really well, like I said with Spirit Caller, like with Charge, so that charging it in play is not a horrible idea, because it basically... You're paying 1 and it comes in play with 2.
Yeah, and that's super good value at that point. If you're able to land it on a charge, it's way more cost effective, because the next card we're going to talk about is a very similar type of character for much less.
My love for you is like a truck. Matsu Berserker.
so yeah, the Matsu Berserker.
You know that, right? The Clerks reference there? Yeah, okay.
Good old Clerks.
God,
James. Wasn't even supposed to be here today. Anyway, so this is a Bushi Berserker. Cost 1, military 3, dash political glory 1.
Everything about this card is Lion.
Yeah. You just want some crazy people charging forward with some boss military for only 1 fate. Yep, we got this Matsu Berserker here. It's great, and I think this card is the reason why it makes me a little harder to value the previous, is because I could pay 3 for 3 military, or I could pay 1 for 3 military, and yeah.
But this is, like I said, so this card here is everything that you want in Lion. It's cheap. It already has a crazy military value. Who cares about what's going on in the political side of things right now? But then you look at everything else that combos with this card that we've already talked about, and B have yet to talk about, and C has yet to even come out. Right?
Yeah.
Like ridiculous. Like already, like, you know, okay, you've got your general, you know, 4 cost, and if you can line it up with this card, you know, because it's a 1, you can even put them out the same turn. Stronghold, boom. You know, bonuses everywhere. You know,
yeah.
It's with this card. It's like the Oprah Winfrey stuff, like bonuses. You know, you get a military bonus, you get a military boost, you get a military boost, and it's nonstop. This faction loves this card. It's so weird to talk about. A little, you know, suicide, you know, kamikaze berserker dude like this, but this is the way it is. This is what Lion is. The cards like this is the reason why you are drawn to this faction.
Yeah, You like people just going to surge forward, just try to put a hurt on someone before they go down.
Yeah, man.
I mean, and the thing is, yeah, you're right. Like, you get the bonuses stacking up, but I mean, even by himself, right? If you just have like him and a Stronghold live, you've invested one with a character that can practically solo a province. Like, just send them like a rocket at a province to check it out. Like, just to see what it is. And you didn't really invest much of anything, and the threat of breaking it's right there and ready to go. Pretty solid. All right, so rolling.
Yeah, I don't have nothing else to say about that one. You can't.
Yeah,
can't dwell on
fantastic card.
I'm pretty sure Matsu Berserker's favorite music artist is Jason Derulo. You get it? He's riding solo. You got it? All right, we're gonna just keep. I'm sorry.
You had to put the hip hop swing off to my metal analogy.
I couldn't help it.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna keep on moving.
And this is what it's like when worlds collide, folks.
All right, we're gonna go to the Obstinate Recruit. This is another Bushi. Cost 0, military 2, political 0, glory 0. But if an opponent is more honorable than you, discard this character. So what you're telling me is I can get a free 2 military guy who can also defend in political challenges if need be, and all I have to do is just not dip below my opponent in honor. I just get a free 2 military, 3 military if you factor in Stronghold.
Very,
seems like good value.
Very doable.
Value.
I have to
say.
Welcome to Value Town.
Dude, it's crazy. Yeah. This card is so stupid. Like, it
Hollis,
costs nothing.
Take him to Value Town right now.
Bro, it costs nothing. Then you throw a freaking fan in his hand, and all of a sudden he can like handle his own in like a political debate. So like somebody walks up, he's like, "Hey, listen, like War Daddy, like Trump is like not doing a great job in Rokugan right now." And he's like, "Well, I don't know, but like take a look at this fan though. You might see it my way."
Yeah.
By the way, I have a giant sword. Like I just thought you should know. Like I don't know, like.
It's good.
He's
free.
coming Larry Flint, that situation right there.
It's just 0. When I see 0, do you know how excited I get? That means it costs nothing, Jameson. Free. My fam. Name the last time you got something that was free. I'll wait. The card costs nothing. Like when you
all
see
it requires you to be is more honorable. You just have to be more honorable.
When you see it, like when you have 15,
I thought that card cost $40 when it was included in my core set, but
when you have 15 honor and your opponent has like I don't know 5, 6, it doesn't matter, like 10, you're like, man, I guess I'll just play this free card to like continuously have this advantage.
I will add, I will throw this in. He is sometimes awkward in the opening of the game because in certain clans, like if you're playing against like Phoenix and stuff like that, it does make you think really hard about your opening honor bid. Because if you try to get like a little like greedy, then your opponent may just be like 1, and then you dip down and lose your Obstinate Recruits. So you do need to pay attention to that.
For the people, Corey, break down when this would happen though.
What do you mean? Like if your overall honor total?
Yeah, like there's no like this is happening immediately.
Correct.
There's no like at the end of your at the end of the phase he leaves or whatnots, right?
No. If you drop below your opponent honor, he goes bye-bye.
But this guy can sit face up on your province though. Like
in your province?
Yeah. Like until he's put into play, that doesn't.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so that's what I'm just saying, just to clarify it for the people.
Correct. Yeah. No, he's good there. He doesn't lose respect for you there.
No.
But he'll lose respect for you when he reads him play.
Yeah.
He'll be like, nah, man. I don't like this.
No, but this is another card basically that that Lion wants and that Lion is going to synergy with. These are the cheap minions that everything else is, circling around to give these 2 cards that we've just, seen the boosts. So this is what Lion does. And they're doing it and doing it well.
We ready? We're gonna keep moving.
Yep.
All right. This next card is pretty cool. It is a holding for the Lion Clan. It is a battlefield. It's called Staging Ground. It gives +1 strength to the province. You okay, Hollis? Hold on, I haven't gotten the ability yet. It has an action. Choose up to 2 face-down cards in your provinces. Turn the chosen cards face up. So, again, if you're going to play the... So, Lions, if you want a deck and you want to play a clan that has, like, a very rush, like, I'm coming at you, I just want to churn out cheap bodies and just throw them against you, this, again, is another card that you love to see early game. Because you'll bring out, like, Obstinate Recruit for free, Matsu Berserker for 1. Cool, I'll stage and ground, flip my 2 cards and see what new things I got. And then if you trigger like an Akodo Gunzo, another face-up card. So it gives you lots of opportunity to not only like funnel out bodies, but to also keep charge threats eligible in your provinces, which is fantastic. Thumbs up. Stage and ground's amazing.
Yeah, this is...
Yeah. Yeah. The only time you'll be sad to see staging ground is if you see all 3 of them, because you're probably playing with 2 or 3 of them in your deck. So that's when you're like, oh,
yeah,
we probably should do something else over here other than just lay out a bunch of maps. There might be some guys we want to bring in.
I mean, this is, yeah, like you said, this is what you want, or like I said, this is what you want to feed.
Yeah, feed the machine.
Feed the machine. Feed the mechanic. Right. This has to. Cards like this are needed, and churning the guys out from provinces is what you need to do. And it lets you get that look, right? Because you don't want to be afraid to. Something that is overlooked from the game is when to discard the guys that are sitting in your province to be able to cycle through a lot quicker. So this gives you that look as well.
Yeah.
There's a weird argument to be made about, like, if a province is broken, if you want to use this ability to flip cards up on broken provinces, because it sort of changes the way you evaluate how you've bought things. Like if you've used a relatively large amount of fate that you have available, and you have the ability to flip this card over, or to flip that card in that is in that remote. I keep saying like Netrunner terms. If that province is already broken, and you've already spent a fair amount of fate purchasing other cards that are on those broken provinces, flipping over great cards like your clan champion, other things that you normally would want to purchase or try to get in play immediately, but you can't because you can't afford it now, would be pretty rough. So it does have that sort of weird catch-22 where, yeah, it's good, but you could also end up in a scenario where, like, you flip over things that you really want to, you'd much rather keep, and now you can't.
Yeah, it's big importance on making, again, to pay attention to your board state. See what's out and what's going on, and find out if it's a good decision for you to go ahead and flip them. Like, do I realistically have a chance of bringing these out? Do I have charge? Might be okay with them binning because I may have a spirit caller that's going to last another turn. So I want to find a way to get these powerful characters in my discard. So different things to think about. Cool. Keep rolling.
Yeah.
We're almost at the end of the list.
Yep.
So the next one we have is the Steadfast Samurai. This is another Bushi. Shocker. 1 cost, 1 military, 1 political, 1 glory. He's 1/1/1/1. He has a forced reaction after the fate phase begins. If you have at least 5 more honor than an opponent, this character cannot be discarded or lose fate this phase.
Okay. What?
Yeah. So if you are way up on honor and your opponent's down, they don't care if they've given up on that race, you're pretty much bringing out a 1/1/1 who just is sticking around. He just hangs out from turn to turn to turn. He's there. He's like getting all shot up with arrows. He's been stabbed. He's been punched. But he's not going down because he respects you as an individual, as a friend, as a confidant. No one's going to finish the Golden Girls theme song. Okay, that's cool, man.
What?
Yes. All right. Anyway. So yeah, but yeah, cool card. It's cheap. Again, he's not like, oh my god, amazing. But he sure as hell isn't bad, and he's a 1 cost one stat and everything. Seems good. Seems like what you want.
I don't know.
It's a good.
I don't know if it does. I think
so.
that
So here's where I argue. If you want to cheat, so if you're in the position right where he's staying around, he's a great cheap character for you to play attachments and things on, because you get to keep him from turn to turn.
But
some of the other cheap characters.
What if you can't keep him?
If you can't keep him, then he's just like another one of your free chuds. Like, yes, he's not as good stats as a Matsu Berserker. He's definitely not the free O2 for the Obstinate Recruit. But there are situations and moments in the game where if he does stay, he's a great target for, like, the Fine Katana, for the Honored Blade, for things like that, because then he's not going to go away and take that with him. And you get more value out of those attachments if he's able to hang out and keep it.
I just feel if somebody has to be doing something incredibly wrong, or the game is getting farther and farther out of control already. Like, is this basically a win more card because having that 5 differential is not as easy as it sounds to be able to just get that bonus all the time, right? Like you see this early game, turn 1 and 2, when you haven't created that yet, and he's just coming in and going.
Yeah, and I mean, and again, he's not something great to see early game, but to be able to get the honor differential is actually a lot easier against some clans than you may think, especially if, I mean, right now Lion is Keeper of Earth, so you may push the Earth Ring kind of heavy early game, and you're getting that card advantage. And let's say like you Keeper of Earth hit, and then they counterattack and they take your Art of War out, right? So now you have a huge card advantage swing on them, and you're in a situation where you can keep bidding 1 because you've already got cards, and then if they want to push to try to get cards, they're going to keep giving you honor. And then you have to think about all the cards you have that are gaining you honor. Akuma Prodigies, Honor Generals, stuff like that. Honor Blades if you're winning conflicts. Winning Air Ring, another part of the challenge. Like, it's not as hard as you may think to be able to get that 5 honor or more gap. You do want to be careful though not to make that be like your ultimate goal. To it's another one of those like board state analysis type positions too. Like when you're doing your card draw, don't sit there and go like, oh well, if I do this, I can keep my Steadfast Samurai around, and that's super good value. I save myself 1 fate. As opposed to, I should get cards or do this so I can help like win the game or win this turn. But if you have him out and you've already got cards, like that's great. You're keeping a free guy, every round.
Yeah. I think this is subpar right now.
It's cool, man. It's cool. He's not going anywhere. Look at him.
I mean, like this card
he just rolls off his shoulders.
Yeah, this card is just in there to help you plot out your peaks and valleys. Not everything can be a peak, right? You need some downs. Like we came off some very strong cards there, so let's just have something blah.
He's not the most exciting, but he's not bad.
I don't
know. All right, Jameson doesn't like the Steadfast Samurai. He still respects you.
I like the little tiny nudge that it gives.
He has no choice but to respect me, because if he doesn't, then he's losing honor, and he's got to keep that 5 gap, man. So,
what were you gonna say, Hollis?
Well, no, I feel like Travis makes a good point in chat. He said he starts to like the card less and less the more he plays with it. I think that's because the way that the game is right now, everyone's still so new. I feel like newer and experienced players, similarly to how everybody like gravitated towards Let Go over Miyamoto's Fury at first. I feel like better players are going to recognize, hey, this card is like clearly one of the better cards for me to try to win a conflict at a province. I feel like the more you play with this card, you're going to realize, oh, well, maybe like a 1/1 is fine for a cost of 1, but is my opponent really going to let me be up 5 honor? Like, I think in the grand scheme of things, the more you learn to play the game, the more you learn, okay, versus this matchup, there's some sort of like pre-planned things that I should be doing. Maybe I don't bet 5 for my draw in the beginning because Lion wants to have more honor than me so they can benefit. So, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely feel like when better options come out, this is one of the first cards that gets replaced in decks. But I think it's fine to exist in decks right now.
This has been a crazy emotional roller coaster. We are pegging Hollis on all levels right now. He's up, he's down, he's left, and he's right. So we have one card left. Where are we going to end up, Hollis? Where's this ride taking us? Oh, Corey, give us something.
Oh, so we have the Venerable Historian. So this is a courtier again. We're at the 4th courtier for the Lion Clan. Scholar. Costs 2, military dash, political 1, glory 3. Action. While this character is participating in a conflict, if you are more honorable than your opponent, honor this character. So then at that point, it becomes a 4 political for 2 cost courtier. But where I think this card is good is it's an honored character that's probably going to go away at the end of the round and gain you another honor.
Yeah.
So in a roundabout way, it's like while you have the Akoma Prodigy, who's effectively a 2 investment if you want to gain honor, this is a 2 investment that needs to be involved. You have to have more honor, but then it's just like a free, but it's also a big stat increase because it's just like, hey, I'm a 4 political now. I can do stuff, and then when I go away, if I don't get dishonored or anything, I gain you another honor point. It's me existing.
It's okay. Unfortunately, unfortunately, this roller coaster ride came to a slow, gradual stop, and it's time for us to get off. This is gonna do what it's gonna do. I mean, I like it in a bubble, but I don't know if I like it as of right now. I feel that maybe as the game opens up and those win conditions are more variable in say Lion, or where you can really dominate one or the other, not like I know Corey, I believe that we've been going on for a while now here, but I think we were talking before the stream starts about the Lion win conditions, and you're saying if basically the styles that you're playing of Lion, out of 5 games, one of them is an honor win, right? But that's you playing the board, that's you playing the state of the game, and then adjusting your in-game win condition. I don't know if a straight up, if you were to play, sit down and saying I am going to win by honor, I don't know if that is viable.
It's not
right now. Okay. Sometimes I leave it up to the players to play and make their own conclusions, but
yeah, I feel like at the game set right now, that's not viable. Like you can't. I don't feel like you can sit down out of core set and say like I'm going to honor run this game. But I do think it's a potential win condition based on the events that happen within the game. But I don't think there's a deck that can 100% build and sustain a run from starting honor to 25 with consistency.
So I don't have anything else to say.
Could be
This card is just that.
Yeah, and I 100% agree. I think, of course, in like the flavor of Lion that a lot of people are hype and excited for, this card doesn't really fit into it. But if Lion opens up to have a better like honor run style build, this card's great for that. So if that deck opens up and becomes a viable option, this card will slot right in just fine.
Hollis.
I feel like it's just, secondary win condition, get as much, honor as possible. I mean, this falls in line, like you're primarily just paying it for the honor. And then once it's honored, the stats for the political will get better. But you really only care that you can get the glory from this.
Yeah. Now there is something to be said, and this is actually fine to put at the end of all this. Even though honor running may not be like a really stable and consistent victory condition, do be aware that in tournament play, honor matters in terms of tie breaks for draws. And in some of the major events, most honorable is an important condition for certain clan benefits and wins. And Lion has so many ways to gain honor that I feel like it's fairly easy for you to get points on that if your game goes to time, and to gain a bunch of honor to attempt to win most honorable at tournaments, which is pretty fitting for Lion because they typically prefer to be the most honorable clan.
Right.
So just think about that. I mean, that is something to also think about for honor gaining purposes of other things, that it can matter aside from just the win condition in the game.
So those are the Dynasty cards. I believe if everything goes according to plan, we will do the conflict cards this Thursday. If you're following along live or like to jump in live, we're going to try and get that out to you this week.
Really soon.
As
we'll
this
also
game
do the
is
province and that as well.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Do you want to talk about alliances here, or do you want to save that?
I think we'll save it for the conflict because it'll flow in more with the conflict cards to kind of see some of the gaps.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I missed.
So I think that's a better one. We'll talk about some of the good alliances. I know some people hate the splash term, but this, your banner. Different ways you can talk about this. But yeah, we'll do that when we do the conflict side.
If you do not already, please subscribe. Please like this video. Please try your best to find us on social media and follow us there. We are ramping up our L5R coverage for you guys, and we'd like you to be along for the ride and know when things like this happen. We like to think of this show as a discussion and not just as us pouring out our viewpoints to you. So we love to see everybody. Thank you very much for making this a very active chat. Thank you very much to our two new supporters tonight.
Matt and Travis.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks,
Matt and Travis.
Really appreciate everything. Thank you very much, and we will catch you on the flip.
Good night,
Good
everyone.
night, everybody. Yay. Look at that. Jinx.